To all of the individuals who are able to access their intuition with the most ease and with the strongest results, there is one common mindset that they've all had. The people that have gone the furthest have acquired this mindset, approached it, utilized it, and really benefited from it. I want to share that mindset with you today and see if it helps you as well. When it comes to balanced spirituality, in the first part, I talked about some key factors. Everyone is strongly intuitive. We have a scale where we are either on one end human or one end spiritual, and the best mindset for accessing the most intuition is found right in the middle of this, in a space of balanced spirituality. So now let's talk about how to get there, right? First, let's completely eliminate the perfectionism piece of this. This was a tough one for me. I am a perfectionist. I'm a type A. I really like to have everything complete in a box, ordered up, like everything structured perfectly. So this was a tough one for me. So if it's tough for you, just be patient with yourself. I totally get it. But what we do need to do is we need to learn how to let go of the end result, let go of the perfectionism around trying to access our intuition. What we want to do with balanced spirituality is always be moving toward balance. That's it. That's it. We don't want to perfectly land in a balanced state and achieve it. There is no location. Intuition isn't found somewhere else. Intuition isn't something that you gain or get more of from somewhere else. It's not a location. It's not a destination. It's already within you. The reason why we have a tough time accessing our intuition is because we are out of balance. As often as we can be in balance here in this existence, and those are key words, and I'll explain it, as often as we can be in balance is as often as we are going to experience very strong intuition. When I say this existence, we need to remember, when talking about these techniques today, we need to remember we are here for two purposes. We are here for two purposes. We are here to have experiences in the spiritual realm. We are also here for the second purpose, to have experience in the human realm. We are here for experiences, both of them. And if we didn't want to have our human experiences, we wouldn't be here. Some of them are not fun. I get it. I totally get it. I've had my fair share as well, but that's what we're here for. And we can't neglect that. Now let's get started. With all of these, we're thinking in the mindset of moving toward balance. Moving toward balance. Not finding it, landing on it, achieving it, nailing it, hitting it. No, moving toward balance with all of these. What I want you to do is I want you to allow your mindset to check in with all three of your bodies on a regular basis. Make this a spiritual practice that is super simple, super easy. Perhaps you pick 3 different cards for reader's cards in the morning, or perhaps you just sit with each of the bodies in the morning. But let's quick review. Spiritual body is your spirit. Physical body is your body you're here for in this human world. And then your programming body is your mind on linear time. What we're looking for, first and foremost, what we're looking for is an imbalance in one of these bodies, or maybe multiple bodies. We're looking for a red flag. We're looking for something in our life that is causing us to be out of balance. What happens when one of our bodies becomes out of balance is a lot of different things, actually. We can become forgetful or spacey, or maybe have a physical issue that we have to deal with. We can deal with heavier thought patterns like depression. Serotonin can reduce. A lot of different things can happen when we are out of sync, when we are out of alignment for these 3 bodies. So first, what I want you to do is, if you can, each morning, check in with each of those bodies. Look for something that might be out of balance, because we can move through our lives, sometimes numb. I've been there myself. We've all done it, where we move through life, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. You good? I'm good. Somebody asks you how you're doing, you're like, I'm great. Are you? And it's really important to stop and check in. It will always naturally be out of balance. And it could be dietary, or it could be a relationship. It could be happiness in a certain area in your life, whether it's work or home. It could be that something isn't completed. It could be that something's overwhelming you. These are all opportunities to move toward balance. Really, what I'm doing here is asking you to invite yourself to step out of the numbness. It's in that numbed state that we lose that access to our intuition. It's in that numbed state that we stay out of balance. And for some of us, to be fair, in some situations, this can be survival. I honor that, absolutely. I am a big promoter of finding support, finding community, finding a really good therapist, finding somebody that you can talk through these things. Now, taking on an imbalanced space and saying, okay, this is a space where I'm imbalanced. I would like to find some balance. Start with the 3 bodies. And when you're really getting started with this, at first it might be easier to just start with the physical body or the programming body, because the spiritual body, once you get into this, it'll be a little bit easier to say, okay, yeah, I don't feel very connected spiritually, so that's out of balance. But at first, it's going to probably be easier to find imbalance in your physical body and your programming body. Physical body imbalance would be digestion issues, exhaustion, hormone imbalance, things like this that are happening to your physical body. Perhaps there's an injury or an illness or something that you're trying to push through. Identify it. You probably already have, but if you haven't yet, take a look at it and go, okay, I can see how I can bring more balance into my physical body by doing A, B, or C, and then commit to doing it. The programming body, your second body. Programming body is your mind on linear time. Honestly, this is where a lot of us are going to find a lot of imbalance. No judgment, right? No judgment. This is the human experience that we came down here for, right? So when you sit with your programming body, with this mind, that your mind here on linear time, kind of your quirks, your tendencies, your relationships, how you're processing. Perhaps you're trying to heal from being a people pleaser, or perhaps you have a relationship that is really rocky. Perhaps you're trying to learn how to set a healthy boundary. These are all natural, normal. Everyone goes through these. Everyone has these challenges. It's part of why we're here. So take a deep breath, sit with that programming body and say, okay, how can I find more balance in some of the areas that are that red flag? And in some future videos, I'm going to go even further into some of these red flags and how you can approach balancing back into that spiritual balanced self with them. But for now, we've checked into the physical body. Is there a change in diet, change in movement, change in anything that can help you to balance that physical body to feel better and feel healthier? I also want you to look into their programming body, your mind, and say, all right, is there anything weighing heavily on my mind, making me uncomfortable, making me sad? I just want you to have a moment where you look at that and you acknowledge that it's happening. That's when you can start to move toward balance with that as well, making some decisions. And yeah, please check in with that third body, that spiritual body. Have you had a lot of signs recently? Have you had a lot of, goosebumps that have gone through for confirmation? Or have you had unusual, beautiful spiritual moments? If you haven't had a lot of those, that's imbalance as well. And so with each of these, let's talk about some approaches to how we can move toward balance. The key to this is hopefully what you'll hear is it's not extreme. It's not a deadline that has to be done right now. All you need to be doing to achieve spiritual balance is moving toward balance. That's it. So with your physical body, that first body, if it's movement you need to do, start small, right? If you say, okay, I haven't done yoga in years, then just do 5 minutes of it. Start small. If you are a runner and you haven't run in a long time, start small. If there's something you need to heal, really put your healing energy toward that and focus on it. What you're doing with the physical body when you are taking steps toward balance with the physical body is that you're taking the baby steps that you need to take right now that will build up over time. You're moving toward balance. Programming body. That one's a little bit more of a challenge because we have a history, we have a past, we have triggers, we have trauma, we have things that have really, really challenged us here in this human experience on linear time. Do we need to solve them all? No. But if you are allowing yourself in this small exercise of looking at all three of your bodies, if you're allowing yourself to look at it and say, yep, this is weighing on me. This is weighing on me. That is a bigger moment than many people realize. Because again, a lot of us have a great habit. I had a great one of wearing those blinders. It's okay. Everything's fine. This step is actually you saying, you know what? Everything isn't perfect. So I'm going to start doing something small to move toward balance. Lastly, with the spiritual body, if you find that you haven't had a lot of spiritual moments, if you haven't had a lot of signs, go ahead and ask for them in the morning. Pick a reader's card, meditate for 10 minutes, talk to your guides, even if it's still a one-way conversation. Just say, hey, if you can give me a sign today, that would be great. Or perhaps a loved one on the other side, just sending a shout out to them and saying, hey, I love you and I'm thinking about you. Connecting into that spiritual vibration to find that balance there as well. So, stepping into this, the main task that I'm going to give you right out of the gate is in the morning, if you can. Perhaps it's better for you at night. It's different for everyone. Find a time in the day to check in with all three of your bodies. Your physical body. Is there any imbalance? Identify it. Bring the awareness to yourself, and then make the decision on how to take a small step to bring your physical body into balance. Your programming body, your linear mind, the mind that is here, that is the human that you're having this experience with, allow yourself to acknowledge an area in your life. Please not all of it, because if you've got a lot of imbalance, this can be too overwhelming, but pick one thing that is weighing you down or limiting you and that you want to change. Let that awareness come in. Let those blinders go to the side for a minute. Make a decision on a small step that you're going to take and move toward that. Spiritually, same thing. Haven't had a lot of spiritual connection. You haven't been focused in on your spiritual practices. No judgment. Do not be hard on yourself. Just invite it in and allow yourself to have that balance. Also, if there is an extreme in one of these three bodies, acknowledge the extreme and acknowledge that that extreme needs to kind of come down a little bit so that you can focus on all three of these areas. So you can focus on both the human and the spiritual. This mindset of checking in, looking for imbalance, and then taking small steps toward balancing to where you want to be, not where anyone else has told you should be, but where you want to be. This mindset and this action of taking these small steps toward it, this is the common denominator that I have seen with all of the individuals who have gone through the Sage Method course, who have utilized the teachings, and who have found the greatest success, not only in bringing happiness into their life, but in having really intense intuitive moments. This is the mindset that the people who have seen the most success with their intuition have had. This mindset of something is off balance. Okay, I'm identifying it. All right, not going to let it overwhelm me. I've identified it. I've brought it into my awareness. Now I'm going to take small steps to shift. The magic in this, which is what you won't find in a lot of courses out there. And I say that because before I taught the Sage Method, before I completely opened up myself, I took a lot of the courses and I couldn't find this in there. But the magic in this is the act of moving toward balance, is the act of being in that perfect alignment state. It's acknowledging it. It's being aware. It's taking down the blinders. It's you taking that empowerment back to say, this is where I want to go and I'm moving toward it. The moving toward it is where your intuitive channel relaxes and opens up. Because what closes that intuitive channel is stress, clutter, extremism, getting either lost in the human side or lost in the spiritual side. That'll shut it down. But the noise, the clutter, the blinders, the staying in a space that doesn't bring you joy, this closes that intuitive channel. And that's what we want. That's what we're here for. To open up that intuitive channel, start getting messages, being able to communicate with guides and loved ones, and get the guidance that we need. And being able to even get the small signs that help us, avoid the little bumps. Those are just as important sometimes, your day to day. We want to be in the flow. And to be in that intuitive flow, you will access it with the most ease when you are in spiritual balance. So try this practice once a day, whether it be morning or afternoon or night, depends on your flow and your schedule. Try this practice. Give yourself that moment where you check in with all three. What's out of balance in my body? What's a small step I can take? What's out of balance with my programming body, my mind? What's a small step that I can take? What's out of balance with my spiritual connection? What's a small step I can take? While this seems simple on some levels, you are going to blow yourself away. You really are. And like I said, earlier on in the beginning of this series, people who have had the most intuitive success are the people who have adapted this mindset. You will be stunned at how this unfolds for you. And in essence, in the end, by taking this step, you're going to be showing yourself the love that you deserve to receive in both your body, your mind, and your spirit. And I'll be back with more techniques because this balanced spirituality is really important and it is a key to accessing your intuition. And that's it. Couple little steps every day. You're going to see great success with spiritual balancing. And jump into this next video because click this one. It's a good one for you. You'll like it.